The woman was shocked to discover the man was wearing a maid outfit, using a voice changer to impersonate her, and having a sweet online romance with one of her biggest fans. To make things more interesting, she used her alt account to send him $10,000 and asked if he would be her boyfriend. As expected, the moment he saw the money, he hung up on the big fan with an excuse and immediately messaged the woman, claiming he had always liked her. But the woman did this for a reason. In her previous life, the man used her identity to sell cheap face cream, claiming it could cure cancer, and tricked many seriously ill fans. When they found out they had been scammed, they came after the woman. No one believed her when she tried to explain. Backed into a corner, she spotted the man in the crowd, begged him to call the police, but he pushed her off a building instead. Only then did she realize he had planned to use her as the scapegoat from the start. Perhaps fate took pity on her and gave her a second chance at life. When she opened her eyes again, she was back on the day the man was preparing to ship face creams under her name. This time, she loudly announced the man was sending luxury skincare to fans. Her co-workers praised his generosity. She then suggested they take photos for promotion. The man quickly backtracked, saying he made a mistake packing the wrong products. She pretended to agree and said it would be better to send things under the company's name and that she would delete the old fan account. He had no choice but to agree. But the man wasn't satisfied. He decided to scam money online using her identity. He dressed as a woman and video called a wealthy CEO who had a crush on her, crying and playing the victim. The woman caught him in the act, so she decided to scam the scammer. She sent him $10,000 using her alt account and confessed like a crazy fan. He fell for it instantly. A few days later, he realized the money was gone from his bank account. Furious, he confronted the woman. She calmly said she'd accepted a role in a project and the earnings would be 10 times the amount. The man was thrilled and signed the contract without hesitation. Then she reminded him to wear the maid outfit. Before he could object, she assured him everyone else was filming outdoors. No one would see him. Right then, the man received a text. His fake face cream scandal had been exposed. Hundreds of victims were waiting at the company entrance, but he couldn't resist the promise of big profits, so he planned to use the woman's staff ID to sneak out and shoot on location. What he didn't know was that the woman had already predicted this. While he was changing, she waited outside the building. The victims were furious, and when they saw the man sneaking out, the woman quietly pointed him out. They rushed over and beat him up. He tried to explain, saying he wasn't who they thought. He tried calling his shady supplier, but the call went directly to the woman. Everyone turned to look at her, but she picked up and said she was calling the police. The man panicked and begged her to take the fall, but she ignored him and shouted that he was the real scammer. Desperate, he pulled out her staff badge, trying to prove it was all her doing. But one victim's condition was getting worse. They demanded answers. The man smugly thought he could ruin her reputation, but when he tried scanning the badge, the gate didn't open. He didn't know the woman had already prepared a new one. She casually tapped her card, and the gate opened instantly. The man finally realized he'd been set up. The victims also saw the truth and grabbed him by the collar, demanding their money back. Just as they were about to give him a proper beating, the man pointed at the woman, saying she was his wife, and the whole thing was her scheme. But then, one co-worker spoke up, and what they said instantly